Hello, net goers and trolls and browsers of all sort that are curious on the net. I am making this little recording here because I want to educate people on the minds of a few of us in the U.S. population. Um, I myself have been diagnosed as a schizophrenic, or more into it is more of a paranoid schizophrenic. I kind of define myself. My psychiatrist won't tell me, but I kind of define myself as that. What is a paranoid schizophrenic? Well, to boil it down to, it is a person that is supposed to be afraid of the unknown. Basically, they think somebody's out to get them in some form of thing, and they're in some state of psychosis, and they're supposed to be fearing for their lives. That something's gonna happen to them. Well, I don't believe any of that BS because I battled it and I won. Um, the problem is that it's a very hard battle. Um, I've had it for about 6 years, 6 years, and it's very tough. Um, through maybe a series of recordings, I will kind of give the approach on how, hopefully this goes out to people that are in the same boat as I am. I still believe it is external influence at some point. I have kind of a little proof, um, but I can't really prove it because it's all audio. It's all audio delusion, so I can't really prove it except for stuff that's on the net and, you know, kind of conspiracy this, conspiracy that. So, enough of the chit chat. Basically, when it first started, boiled down to my first event was when I was in college and I thought I felt some sort of pulse that hit the back of my right side of my brain, and I was sitting in a chair at the time, and after that I was afraid. I don't know what it was. It could have been a seizure or something, but I went home, and then I thought people were trying to get me because of that. And so I had a knife, and I am married. So what happened is I slept with this knife in my bed, and my wife found out that I was sleeping with a knife, and she freaked out. So I went to go to the psychiatrist and got, you know, sort of, I don't call it a solution. Uh, Drugs kind of cover up the problem, um, and they aren't very, they're effective, but they tend to make your thinking groggy, your mind's groggy, you're doped up on something, and you just don't feel like a healthy mind. And basically what happened after that, or occurring with that, was a little bit, let me rewind a little bit. Um, Before I was diagnosed, before I had the knife in my bed, I had voices in my head, and, well, not really a voice, but it was a voice that said something about waveforms or waveform and all this stuff, um, because I thought because I was working on a waveform algorithm for computer science when I was hired at, fee. Um, yeah, I was a student there and I was hired. Um, so I hear this waveform, waveform, waveform all the time. And I'm like, it can't be because of the algorithm I was working on. So plus with that, that was going on in my head, and there was this one voice that said there was a bomb in my head. So there are different approaches, there are different phobias that the mind, I guess the mind tries to play on you to make you try to break down in psychosis. One of them is um, basically a tick down towards destruction or your own demise. So this voice in my head told me that there was a bomb in my head and it was going to explode. So, of course, I was thinking, wow, it's going to explode. What the hell? Somebody implanted a bomb in my head somehow. I thought it was some type of energy, um, because there was no mark. Um, and yeah, it was a scary event. I hid underneath the table, had my wife hid underneath the table because I thought they were going to come for me. Then they said there were snipers out that were going to shoot me if I go outside. So, um, after a day of telling myself that it was nothing but a suggestion, I went outside carefully and I looked around. There's nobody around. So it was all in my head. I was kind of relieved. Um, but I was still scared at the same time because you never know, right? So, but I got diagnosed by the doctor and got some drugs and, well, I didn't like those drugs too much, so I didn't take them after a while because they make you feel like a zombie. I mean, really, honestly, does it take the voices out of your head? Kind of. It makes you really groggy, so you can't really think straight. You're always tired. It's just not. Drugs are just not the answer. Not for my case anyway. So there's another time, and that was, oh, okay. Let me stop right now and tell about other occurrences that happened. One occurrence that happened was I was driving around, or actually no, it started when I was in IHOP, and I thought one of the speakers called me a nigger, and they were going to say, "I'm going to get you, nigger. I'm going to get you, right?" Because I'm sort of, dark in the racial area, so, it's I'm going to get you, right? But there's nobody around. So, it was a manifest of something, it was just in my head, or it was an external influence. Those are only two things I can realize. So, a couple days later, I was driving around, or it was days, or I can't remember. It was different occurrences. There was an occurrence when I was driving around and said, "We're gonna get you, nigger, we'll get you, nigger." So I drove underneath the airport. I drove over by the police station. I drove everywhere where there was a communications antenna that maybe it can pick up these frequencies that I'm picking up in my head. Because I know the externals, they can't be in my head, right? So, and then, I went home and I relaxed and, you know, that was one occurrence. So, so basically that was kind of a racial thing. Racial, I'm gonna get you, so it's like these white power racists are gonna come and get me and kill me or whatever they do, that was another thing. Causes paranoia, right? Well, you have to fight it out in your head because it's the power of suggestion, right? Either it's from your